Good morning, gentlemen. So today I'm going to be doing the physical versus chemical changes lab. While you are watching this, please follow along with your handout, as you do have to pause the video to make observations as well as answer some analysis questions after each station. I will not be telling you when to do that. That is your responsibility, just like you would be in a regular lab. So I'm going to go through each station in numerical order. So I will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it is your responsibility to record the answers and then complete the analysis questions at the end. If at any point you have any questions while you're watching the lab, please feel free to email me or ask me in the Zoom call, but this is due by the end of class. All right, let's get started. Station 1 is going to have us burning steel wool. These steps are all on the procedure that I have attached to the online lab portion. So all you have to do is look at that for these steps. However, steel wool looks like this. And what we will do in the beginning is we are going to take like a small ball. We'll take a section, make it into a small ball as such. We need to take the starting mass. I'm using an evaporating dish because when it is warm, I do not want that on top of my scale. So I'm going to already mass it in there. Please record the mass. While I burn it, I will be using tongs because safety first. So I have a candle right here. I will give that a light. And then I will hold the steel wool for about a minute. You can probably see that there's some sparks going on. Now, I'm not going to hold it right over. You do want to move it because if I just held it over, it could catch on fire, and that is the last thing that we want to happen. So I am moving it around so that way it is not going to catch on fire. All right, it's been about a minute, maybe less than that. I'm going to blow my candle out, set that aside, and then set my steel wool in my evaporating dish and record the mass. Now you should have some analysis questions that you need to answer, and that is it for station 1. Here we're at my baking soda and vinegar. This is station number 2. Under your observations, can you tell me about some properties about baking soda and vinegar from the beakers I am going to show you? Here is my baking soda. And here is my vinegar. Now I have a candle and I have already lit it up if you are following in your directions, but I am going to prepare my beaker for my baking soda and vinegar mixture, and I will have the light over here. So I will kind of push it out of the way because I do want you to view this observation. First things first, we're gonna put some baking soda. My beaker's a little bit wet. I'm going to add some vinegar. And now please observe what happens with the flame. I did not pour out any liquid. This was all just from the reaction that happened. So I will do that one more time at a different angle for you. If you need a second look, here is my baking soda. Here is my vinegar. And here I'm lighting my candle. So I'm gonna do what I did the exact same time, where I'll put baking soda, I'll give a second for the reaction after I add the vinegar, and then I will pour out over the candle without spilling any of my solution. And observe what happens with the flame. Record your observations and answer the analysis questions for station 2. Here we are at station 3, which is my food coloring and Kool-Aid. So what we're first going to do is I have 2 beakers of water at my station, and I have a food coloring, and I have a beaker. The first thing we are going to do is add a small drop of food coloring to this beaker of water and make an observation. Make observations on your lab guide about what you see happening. Now that I have done that, let's do with the Kool-Aid. In the Kool-Aid, I will be using a stirring rod for this, so please make your observations as I do that. All right, record your observations. And now answer the analysis questions for lab number 3. Now we are going to be doing a mixing of 2 solutions at lab number 4. The solutions that we're going to be dealing with are called sodium hydroxide and copper sulfate. I am going to show you what each one looks like, and you're going to record observations. Here is my sodium hydroxide. And here is my copper sulfate. Now what we're gonna do is we have pipettes, and I have my mini test tube here. I am going to add about 20 drops of my sodium hydroxide into my test tube. Make observations as you're kind of watching. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. There are my 20 drops of my sodium hydroxide. And now we're going to put 1 pipette's worth of copper sulfate in. I will do this slowly. It's important that you make observations as you are watching. Here is what the test tube looks like after I added my copper sulfate. All right, record your observations and answer the analysis questions. We're now at station number 5, and this is when we are going to mix up milk of manganese and vinegar. Now, milk of manganese is a type of laxative. It kind of looks like milk. And we've seen what vinegar looks like. Now, what's important with this is that we are going to be dealing with a pH reaction. I do not have a universal indicator, so I've been using pH paper. pH paper is what determines, well, pH is between an acid and a base, and dipping this in the solution will give me a color. And this will indicate if it's an acid or a base. So what I will do is I am going to do the reaction. I'll take the pH paper, and then I will show you a clip at the end of the difference between the pH paper, and I will have it labeled. So let's do the reaction. First things first is I need to get out 2 pieces of pH paper. And then I'm going to return back. And I'm going to get the pH of my milk of manganese. Here is what it looks like, and again, I will have that image that will be a little bit clearer. Now with pH, the beauty is I can go and look at the back here, and I can see what that matches up to. So in that image, I will have that labeled. Now what I'm going to do is in a test tube, I'm going to squirt about a pipette's worth of my milk of manganese. Then I'm going to include a pipette's worth of vinegar. I need to stir this reaction, which I'm just going to give it a couple shakes. And now, using my other pH paper, I'm going to give a couple of drops. here is my pH paper after the reaction. Again, I will attach those photos. The before will be on the top and the after will be on the bottom. All right, and I will include the pH so you may make an observation on that. The pH for the milk of manganese is on the top and the pH of the mixture is on the bottom. And last but certainly not least is probably our fun one. This is our flame test station. So what I will do is I will turn the Bunsen burner on. I will show you the different salts that I have of samples. I will tell you what they are as well. And then I will actually be sticking a popsicle stick, getting a sample, and we're going to make observations on the color. The ones that we are going to do today are going to be NaCl. And on your observation, you want to make note about what the color looks like prior to doing the flame. So write NaCl as element number 1 and then record the color of the solid. Next, we're going to do CuCl2, which is copper chloride. And again, I want you to record what you notice about the color of the solid. So this is element number 2, CuCl2, and record the color. When turning on a Bunsen burner, I am going to turn my gas on. You can kind of hear it. And then I'm going to come from the light on the bottom. That's the important part. Oh, it's not enough, maybe? There we go. As you can see, I have my flame. My flame is blue, meaning it is warm. We're going to do the NaCl. Let me turn the lights off for this. I'm going to take a popsicle stick, dip it in with my NaCl, get a sample, and I'm going to burn it. All right, record the color that you are observing with the NaCl. Next, I'm going to do the copper chloride. Again, I'm taking a popsicle stick. I am dipping it in. And now record the color you see. Again, NaCl and my copper chloride. When I am done, I dispose of my popsicle sticks in the trash can, and I turn my flame off. And that is it for my Station 6, and that is the end of the lab. So it is your responsibility to go through and complete the lab and write all of your observations down. Again, if you have any questions, please email me, but make sure that you answer the final analysis questions before turning it in. Have a wonderful day. Bye.